Hello, White Plains family. I'm Steve Washburn, and we're here with a group of folks to talk about how White Plains has become a virtual cradle of pastors. We have, as of this month, and we're still potentially identifying more names, 27 individuals who have been associated with this church who have gone into professional ministry over the 60-year history of the church. So that's pretty amazing. So,
although I've been in vocational ministry working for the church for over 20 years now, I only became clergy, a licensed local pastor, fairly recently. Mine started just as the way that it starts for all of us when we realize that our vocation, our work that we do, can also be a ministry. Right. Mine just happened to go from working in the retail and sales and things like that to working with teenagers at the church. But nobody told me that was anything special. And nor, I mean, on the one hand, it is special and holy. But on the other hand, I credit the culture of White Plains to helping me recognize that what I did with my life and what I did with my time mattered. And then it happened to lead toward this specific role.
My experience of White Plains was not as a country club church you belong to. That's not been my experience historically. My experience with White Plains was that there were people who actually loved Jesus. And that was the priority. And my experience has been like, it's a place where I first read Bible verses and took them seriously. I remember Mac McLaurin reading to us when I was in the 5th grade, John 10. I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. So Mac McLaurin, I could go, Tom Killian, I could go down the line of all these people who, for me, it was about knowing Jesus. It's not always that way for people in churches. When I began to be more expressive about knowing and loving Jesus, White Plains responded really well to that. Do you know what I mean? They weren't like, shh, be quiet over there. Right. That is a big deal. So both it had nurtured a relationship with Jesus, and then it nurtured this sense of my living out and expressing of that in a way that just naturally led to ministry. Conversations I had with people. I'm starting to sense this. Had a conversation with Jim Bailey right over there. And Jim Bailey said, yeah, I think that's what God's going to do in your life.
Jay, do you think that there was a culture of expecting more?
Yeah, right.
Not just, hey, good job, that kid's pretty sharp. He'll probably make a great executive one day. But yeah. An openness to the idea that God may have a special call on this person's life?
The Emmaus community here at White Plains, back when it first got started, really did create opportunities for ministry for people. It created opportunities for people to share Christ with people and show God's love in a practical way. And I think that was one place. For me, it was Emmaus community and Sunday school, believe it or not. Starting to help teach Sunday school as a youth. For an adult to go, hey, we want you to help teach with us. And I remember right over there reading Matthew 27 and reading about the crucifixion of Jesus as a freshman in high school, and I was going to be helping lead Sunday school. They expected me to help lead Sunday school. And I remember in the reading of that and planning for that, I remember having the thought, this is not like anything else I've ever read before. Right. I think this moment in time somehow involves me, even though it happened in Israel those many years ago. But it was the fact. So there were things like the Emmaus community and Sunday school where I was invited, hey, come over here and join and help us.
Carrie Lee, would you like to talk about what has inspired you, what about White Plains has helped you to become interested in going into the ministry?
Yeah, I think it started when I was in youth ministry as a 6th grader, like 13 years ago. Just the fact that like there were adults and directors that were there to like help me through difficult times in my life. And for me, when I got to college, I didn't originally think that I wanted to go into the ministry until about 2 or 3 years ago. I felt this call, and at the time I was reading 1 Samuel, and I was like, oh, that definitely relates to me, because Elijah was hearing the call from God, who he didn't know it was God, and I was like, I think I might actually want to go into the ministry. And so I was doing an internship in Edgecombe County, the Taste and See internship through the conference, and that definitely solidified, yes, I want to go into the ministry. And with White Plains, they've helped me mature in my faith that I don't think would have happened if I didn't come here.
Carrie, I'm glad you mentioned the Taste and See internship, because we've had numerous Taste and See interns here, not just from White Plains. Some have been homegrown, sort of, so to speak, but some have been from across our connection, because we are a connected church. So I'm glad you mentioned that you participated in the Taste and See program at another church, because even though you come from here and you'll always be a part of us, most of us who go along this path will wind up serving in other churches and other locations.
I hope so they can understand my English, but when I met to Yesenia and Juan Carlos, always Yesenia has a passion to serve people, especially for the children. And when I met her, we started the Hispanic ministry in the annex. She's psychology, she loves kids, so we have a lot of kids in our community. We're starting to working with that. After some years, she explored the opportunity to be pastors in our congregation, but take time with her and also for her husband. She went to Drew theology school in New Jersey. After 4 years, she's finished. She and Juan Carlos, Yesenia Palomino and Juan Carlos Ruiz, they finished their classes last year in May 2020. Right now they working, they serve like missionaries in one church, multicultural. It's Oasis Multicultural, United Methodist Church in New Jersey.
I met her like 10 years ago when I started coming to the annex just across the street. And she was working with Seeds of Love, and I was just visiting the church. I was looking for a church. So they welcomed me, Pastor D welcomed me. My mother-in-law, she was regular coming here, so she invited me. And I started bringing my son Emiliano and Cesar to Seeds of Love. And I see the care like the Anglo congregation have for the Hispanic community. They want our kids to be successful, to be more involved at school.
You're also a part of this story of vocational ministry, because you were a part of our congregation, and now you're a part of the staff leadership team
Because
of the church.
I see that White Plains not only teach like Bible and stuff, like they don't only teach you what is in the Bible. They also teach you like work. We work really hard for our community, and like we have the Seeds of Love and Harvest of Love Ministries, the Diapers Ministry that helps all the community.
Pues estamos hablando de cómo Dios llamó a Yesenia Palomino y Juan Carlos Ruiz, y compartía que cuando conocí a Yesenia, ella siempre tuvo una pasión por servir a la comunidad, a Dios, pero especialmente en los niños. Entonces, en ese tiempo yo estaba comenzando el ministerio en español, y Yesenia siempre era muy entusiasta y siempre tenía ideas increíbles con los niños, y es así como comenzamos a trabajar juntos. Ahí se creó Semillas de Amor, Cosechas de Amor, ya Lupita lo compartió. Pero en 2015 Yesenia y Juan Carlos tomaron el curso de misioneros laicos certificados a través de la conferencia, nuestra conferencia, y después de eso ellos sintieron un llamado más fuerte, su llamado a servir a Dios ya más completo, porque lo estaban haciendo de alguna manera part-time. Entonces en el 2016 ellos siguieron todo el proceso para entrar a servicio de ministerio, y me recuerdo que en junio del 2016 toda la congregación White Plains, tanto en inglés y en español, oraron por ellos. Fue bien emotivo porque niños, jóvenes y adultos, todos estábamos ahí, muchos llorando porque ella se iba, esta familia se iban, que ha sido una bendición tremenda en nuestro ministerio en español, pero a la vez bien contentos porque teníamos la seguridad que Dios iba a caminar con ellos. Y así ha sido. Después de 4 años de mucha lucha, porque ustedes saben que el inglés no es nuestro primer idioma, entonces tuvieron muchas luchas Yesenia y Juan Carlos, aparte que son padres de 3 niños, entonces, pero vencieron, y el año pasado, en el mayo del 2020, y actualmente están sirviendo como Juan Carlos y Yesenia, están sirviendo como misioneros en la iglesia de Oasis Multicultural, en la Iglesia Metodista Unida en New Jersey.
Y también pues no necesariamente tenemos que entrar a un colegio a estudiar 4 años para ser pastores y servir a la iglesia, sino que también podemos servir como misioneros laicos. Muchos de nosotros ya estamos trabajando en la iglesia, somos las manos y los pies de Jesús y tratamos de hacer lo mejor por nuestra iglesia y por nuestra comunidad.
So, White Plains is more than bricks and mortar. It's been a virtual cradle of pastors. It's been an inspiration to many people. We all serve as ministers, but many have gone from this church to go into the official ministry as professionals. You can support White Plains through the general fund, the missions fund, and the 3-year commitment for Heart and Home, so we can keep these facilities inspiring people into the future. Thank you.